这个被用于表述体育运动等竞赛中第1名的词语，它的引申意义并没有那么简单。在各个领域中出类拔萃的佼佼者都可称之为冠军。那么是怎样的素质成就了他们？为什么对于优胜者的敬仰是人类文化中的普遍现象呢？有志青年又能从冠军的经历中汲取怎样的养料呢？正是基于这样的问题意识，2000年悉尼奥运会开幕前夕，悉尼大学的艾伦施奈德教授发起并举办了吸引世界目光的首届冠军论坛，以冠军们的心得为全球青少年指点成就自我的方向。那么到底是什么造就了冠军呢？施奈德教授将给我们带来怎样的观点呢？
Go on to greatness themselves. In fact, most of the world's greatest contributors never had university education, anything like what you have here, nor were they nearly as proficient as you are. Many of them were school dropouts, like Steve Jobs, the creative genius behind Apple computers, or like Richard Branson, the mastermind of the Virgin Empire. Why is this? And rather than stick our heads in the sand and ignore this fact, I say, let's confront it head on. Let's turn it to our advantage. And let's do it right here and right now. So I ask you, what makes a champion? What makes extraordinary success? What makes extraordinary success? What is that special ingredient? Some might even say magic that separates truly exceptional individuals from the rest of the pack. This is what we investigate at the Center for the Mind. And in doing so, we have engaged with some of the most brilliant creative minds in the world. Nobel Prize winners, presidents, Olympic gold medalists, CEOs of the largest corporations, people like Nelson Mandela, people like the first man to conquer Everest, Edmund Hillary, and people like the inventors of the Google search engine, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. What do these individuals have in common? What do they have in common? Far and away, the standout ingredient is that they have an aversion to being just one of the average, one of the pack. They have an aversion, even an abhorrence, a hatred for being just ordinary. Surprisingly, extraordinarily successful people are not particularly driven to succeed. They are driven to do something different. They are driven to differentiate themselves from others. They are driven to define their distinct brand, their distinct way of looking at the world. So the lesson here is to continually remind ourselves that we are unique, to continually remind ourselves that our ways of thinking are different from everyone else, and that we should capitalize on this difference and exploit it for all it's worth. No matter what you do in life, no matter what your professional niche, it seems that we all derive the greatest satisfaction when we pour something uniquely us into the mix. Our innate satisfaction is intimately bound up with the process of creatively differentiating ourselves from others. Our innate satisfaction is intimately bound up with the process of creatively differentiating ourselves from others. Now, everyone has the capacity to be creative. Why then is creativity so rare? Richard Branson says it all. Convention, he says, is the enemy of creativity. It stifles creativity. It destroys a sense of adventure. And that says it all. There's an enormous conservative pressure in this world to follow in the footsteps of others. We are taught to learn what other people think. We are taught to think as other people think. So it is one thing to have original ideas, and quite another to have the courage to broadcast them to the world. That's why I say creativity is an act of rebellion. An act of rebellion. It is downright subversive to be creative. You have to have the courage to confront conventional wisdom. You have to have the courage to occasionally take risks. And you have to have the courage to sometimes even break the rules. But make no mistake, you have to know the rules before you break them.
惯例、创造力这对天敌，在维珍帝国的策划大师理查德·布兰森的眼中，到底有着怎样的解释？查看一下维珍帝国的企业履历，不难发现，在一个商家习以为常的粗暴对待顾客的商业世界里，维珍总裁坚奉着顾客至上的信念。纵观维珍发展史，许多令其大获成功的点子，都是源于布兰森将自己置身顾客位置时的切身需求。他的这种创新思想，这种与众不同的做事方式，使得理查德·布兰森大获成功。艾伦·施耐德教授将他的故事引入讲坛，从故事中讲述了创新意义的重要性。
Let me tell you the story. At the first What Makes a Champion forum, Peter Ritchie, the chairman of McDonald's, worldwide McDonald's, told me that he takes kids off the street and trains them in the 6 basic ways to serve hamburgers. Only 6 rules. How difficult can that be? And from these simple 6 rules, Peter Ritchie, the chairman of McDonald's, says he picks the worldwide executives. The leaders of McDonald's are people who learn 6 basic rules. Naturally, I said to Peter, come on, how can you possibly choose your highly prized executives from those who only learn 6 basic rules? And Peter said, easy, Alan. They're the ones who break the rules. Now, this is a nice metaphor, and I always thought maybe it's no more than just a metaphor. After all, anyone can learn the rules of anything, say even physics, and then go on to become a physics professor. Look, I can assure you from first-hand principles, from first-hand experience, that's really straightforward, even though becoming a physics professor might take more time than learning how to serve hamburgers. But the great physicist, like the great McDonald's executive, has the courage to break the rules, the courage to invent new ways of looking at things. And that says it all. I say again, creativity is an act of rebellion. You have to have the courage to confront conventional wisdom. You have to have the courage to broadcast your ideas to the world. Finally, I want to emphasize that extraordinary achievers have struggled, and they have experienced failure. Michael Jordan, the brilliant American basketball champion, didn't make his high school basketball team. Abraham Lincoln lost many elections before becoming America's most celebrated president. Albert Einstein was an average student who at times was told he would never amount to anything. And that is just the point. If things come too easy, you are not prepared for the inevitable difficulties that lie ahead. You are not prepared for the vicissitudes of life.
中国有句古话叫做"失败是成功之母"。在艾伦·施耐德教授对成功的论断中，他列举了许多从失败中站起来的例子，告诉人们失败并不可怕，反而人们要做好失败的心理准备。用中国儒家思想中的和的思想来解释施耐德教授的论断，便可得出，成就冠军，心境的状态是最为重要的。
This is why Sir Edmund Hillary, the man who conquered Everest, said, as you saw up there, if you know you can do something, why bother starting? You might as well go to the beach. He says, instead, always go for something outrageous. Challenge yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, where does that lead us? What's my take-home message? Truly extraordinary achievers owe less to their conventional education and more to their mindset, to their champion mindset. Their champion mindset? What is that? Having studied champions from all walks of life, from all persuasions, we have distilled 3 unique ingredients that are common to champions and separate them often from the rest of the pack. 1, their abhorrence to being just ordinary. 2, their courage to confront conventional wisdom. And 3, their conviction that adversity, sometimes even failure, is integral to the process of succeeding.
不甘于平凡，有勇气直面传统的观点，深信失败是迈向成功的过程中所不可或缺的条件。施耐德教授对冠军阐释的3个必要条件，给了我们许多启示。然而，他也提出了一个全新的冠军思维。他说，他通过大量研究表明，的确存在着这样一种冠军思维，使人们有明确的目标、坚定的信念和可以享受的奋斗过程。冠军思维造就了冠军，而这种思维是冠军人物留给后世最宝贵的财富。目前最大的挑战是如何通过社会、教育和环境塑造这样一种思维。
Put simply, in the final analysis, what makes a champion is a champion mindset. And this brings me to one of the most original and influential scientists of all time, Sigmund Freud. Now, Freud radically changed how we think about the mind. He was at times wrong. He was at times fiercely attacked. He was at times outrageous. Yet today, his ideas are deeply ingrained in the very fabric of at least the existence in the West. Listen to what Freud said. I'm not a man of science. I'm not an observer. I'm not an experimenter. I'm not even a thinker. I'm nothing but an adventurer, a conquistador with all the boldness and tenacity of that type of being. Ladies and gentlemen, Freud, like so many of the other champions I studied, had the champion mindset. So, the great challenge now is to understand the determinants of the champion mindset. How is it shaped by our genetic makeup? How is it shaped by our education? How is it shaped by our culture and our society? Do some societies have values that inhibit the full expression of the champion mindset, while others inadvertently promote it? And are these differences diminishing with globalization? Ladies and gentlemen, what better time to confront such crucial questions than on the occasion of the Beijing Olympic Games? And what better place to do it than right here at Beida, China's best university? So on the eve of the Beijing Olympic Games, champions from across the globe will assemble here to unravel the ingredients of extraordinary success. This history-making forum is a collaborative effort of Beida with the Center for the Mind at the University of Sydney. The first What Makes a Champion forum, as we saw earlier, was opened by Nelson Mandela at the University of Sydney on the eve of the 2000 Olympic Games. Now the 2008 forum here at Beida will bring a whole new dimension to our understanding of extraordinary success. It will bridge different cultures by examining how diverse societies shape our attitudes towards extraordinary success. It will fuel dreams of youth by helping them to realize their full potential. It will be a celebration of great minds. So with this, I formally launched the What Makes a Champion program at Peking University. Thank you.
2008年，全世界各界冠军人物齐聚北京，这是见证历史的一年，也是为不同文化的理解交融搭建的一座桥梁。冠军论坛将如何推进对冠军思维的认识？北京奥运又将诞生哪些令人难忘的冠军？全世界将拭目以待。施耐德教授精彩的演讲赢得了全场观众热烈而持久的掌声。在观众提问的环节，施耐德教授对于同学们的问题一一做出了精彩的解答，其中也不乏是发人深省的警句。
Good evening, Professor Snipe. My name is Zhao Nan, a student from Journalism and Communication Department. Just 2 weeks ago, the president of Harvard University came to Beida and was asked by a student, what does champion and championship means to you? Her answer is, I think everyone who has his or her talent and endeavor in any fields on any subjects can be regarded as a champion. So my question is, are you satisfied with her answer? Why or why not? Thank you very much.
Do I agree with her answer is the question?
Yeah, maybe exactly. Are you satisfied with this answer?
Oh, am I satisfied? Well, I think anybody who gives a universal description of championship, of course, that is difficult. There are many ways of looking at championship. But my talk was addressed at extraordinary success. And for me, maybe the best way to answer that question, and it's in the book, What Makes a Champion, that's just being translated by Peking University Press. In there, I wrote a chapter about my champion. And my champion was a person who changed how we thought about the world. For example, Gandhi and his peaceful revolution, or Copernicus in saying that the Earth isn't the center of the universe. That was a tremendous breakthrough. And then I also chose someone from sports, the person who first broke the 4-minute mile, because it had been considered until then a physiological barrier. So in other words, for me, the champion is the one who changes how we think about the world. Each person has a particular image of their champion. The other thing I said was beginning something from nothing. You have to have done that yourself. It's one thing directing or improving something. It's quite another starting something from nothing.
Good evening, Mr. Snyder. I'm interested in what you just said. The point that makes a champion is to break the rules. And I wonder about what kind of rules, the rules we think or the rules we act. Can you give us more details or explanations? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Well, I thought my example of the McDonald's executive is in a sense your answer. But I'll sort of say it again. I mean, by definition, serving hamburgers is trivial, and there was some simple way to do it. And obviously this person didn't break the rules, but played with the rules and came up with a more efficient way of serving hamburgers. And I said, is that really different from Einstein? It took a long time for Einstein to develop his physics education. I know that. But in the end, it was the person who played with the rules, that played with it, and then saw something different. And so I think it isn't about deliberately breaking rules. It's about playing and playing. And here's the point. In my talk, I said this crucial point. It's one thing to have a good idea, and it's another to have the courage to broadcast it to the world. So there could be a student somewhere who is listening to a professor someplace, and they see a different way to do it, but don't have the courage, understandably, don't have the courage to say that maybe it could be done differently. And it's as you get older, I think, developing that courage to not challenge convention, but to be, when you see something that's different, have the courage to present it. You know, the point is, I don't know about your school system, but when I went to school, I really thought if you weren't the best student, you would never be the extraordinary champion. But I now know that is absolutely wrong. If you study extraordinary success, it's from the people who were, unfortunately, I hate to say this, not the best students. They were good students. They were sometimes average students. And I think that's a very interesting message, that everybody has the opportunity to do extraordinary things, no matter how well they do in elementary stages of their existence.
将近2个小时的演讲结束了，相约冠军名家讲坛栏目组还特意准备了一份礼物，一幅肖像画送给了施耐德教授。施耐德教授看了之后，觉得画的是一个古怪的教授，但他很感谢这个来自于中国的特殊礼物。他说，他来自于一个非常特别的家庭，妈妈是百老汇的一名歌剧演员，随后成为了一位精神病学家。弟弟是一位著名的雕刻家，他曾经荣获了罗马奖，所以他的房间也到处都布满了精美的艺术品。他说，他会将这个礼物摆放在家中，记住这个来自于中国的礼物。 白丽安女士1980年毕业于昆士兰大学，获得文学学士。作为第一位澳大利亚昆士兰州的女州长，白丽安女士对教育工作一直有着自己格外的专注。当白丽安女士在1998年7月第一次担任州部长级职务的时候，她负责的就是青少年家庭及社区服务等方面的工作。
Thank you very much to Professor Ling Jinhua. It's a great honour for me to be here with you at Peking University for this event. Can I also acknowledge from Griffith University in Queensland, Australia, Professor Ian O'Connor, the Vice-Chancellor and President of that university, Dr. Angela Wan from the Peking Polytechnic, and can I also acknowledge Dr. Wang, who is the Director of the Chinese Centre for Disease Control and Prevention, who is a regular visitor to Griffith University. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for your very warm welcome. Thank you also to Peking University for inviting me to speak at this very prestigious place of learning, which I note will celebrate its 110th anniversary in May this year, and I congratulate you on that milestone in the history of this very significant university. It is my great honour to speak with some of the best and brightest minds of the next generation of China's leaders who are here with us today in the student body who are attending this lecture. The What Makes a Champion Forum was initiated as part of the Sydney Olympics in my country in the year 2000. It was designed to inspire young people to strive for success in their chosen fields. I'm very pleased to see that the What Makes a Champion Forum will also form part of Beijing's hosting of the 2008 Olympics this year. The eyes of the world will be on champions later this year as China hosts the 2008 Olympic Games. As people around the world marvel at the remarkable feats of ability and strength and human stamina that they will see out in the sporting events that make up the Olympics and which will give these games their character.
2008年8月8日，中国将迎来举世瞩目的第29届奥林匹克运动会。奥运的精神是更高、更快、更强，追求奥运金牌也是每个运动员的毕生追求。然而，冠军只有一个。那么，除了那些客观条件必备的冠军品质之外，冠军还有着怎样的含义？作为悉尼奥运会主办国的官员，白丽安女士对冠军有着怎样的思索呢？
We will all inevitably be asking ourselves, what drives this athlete on? What makes this person a hero? What makes them a champion? Many of us will feel inspired to ask ourselves, how can I take these lessons and apply them in my own life, in my family, in my business, in the community that I am part of? By definition, a champion is someone who stands above the crowd. Someone who has raw talent and ability. But this is not enough. That talent will only deliver a champion when it is honed by determined hard work and endless, tireless devotion to the task. But we must also add courage and bravery and the ability to face fear with a calm heart. But even then, with all of those ingredients, another ingredient is essential. I think the most essential ingredient with all of those others attributes is passion, an enthusiasm and an excitement about your chosen field, a belief that what you are doing really matters, a belief that what you are engaged in is important enough for you to devote your time and the best that you have to it as often as you can. This is the flame that lights the fire of a true champion. It is the extra spark that drives the champion to dare the impossible and to achieve what no one else has been able to dream of. This is what makes champions inspirational to the rest of us. It is this that we see when we feel uplifted by their achievements. Champions, of course, are not only seen on our sporting fields. They are seen in our laboratories seeking cures to terrible diseases. They are seen in our theatres striving for the performance of a lifetime. They are seen in our governments reaching for answers to the most intractable challenges. And I hope that they are here in this lecture theatre searching for better ways to face the future for all of us. As the new Premier of Queensland, I am inspired by what is happening in China, and I'm inspired by the exciting opportunities of our growing relationship. My personal commitment to this relationship is highlighted by the fact that China is the first country that I have visited officially as Premier. I know that realising our opportunities together will take leadership and advocacy, that it will require hard work and determination, and I, along with the many Queenslanders, some of whom are travelling with me and are here today, who each and every day are working with the people of China in business, in trade, in academia and in research and in diplomacy, are willing to meet these requirements. Queensland welcomes Chinese students, we welcome tourists, we welcome collaboration between our universities and our researchers, we welcome exchanges in technology, in business partnerships, in trade and in joint investments. Our trade and economic links are significant and growing. Today, China is our second largest partner in two-way trade. China's remarkable growth over the past decade has led to increased demand for Queensland's raw materials, particularly our coal. Coal is China's main energy source, and coal is Queensland's biggest industry. It is our largest export, contributing $13 billion in the last financial year to our state economy. Exports of Queensland's coal to China have grown significantly. The growth in our exports to China mirror the growth in your economy. In the past 5 years, our exports of coal to China have grown by 368%. That was more than 116 million metric tonnes. An emerging and significant feature of our trade and economic relationship is China's increasing investment in Queensland's resources sector. One such project is the planned development of a bauxite deposit at Arakoon on the west side of Cape York, one of the most remote parts of my country. Bauxite, as many of you will know, is a mineral that contains alumina, the chief source of aluminium. In March last year, the Aluminium Corporation of China Limited, or Chalco, reached an agreement with the Queensland Government to mine the bauxite and to construct a refinery to produce alumina. Chalco won the right to exploit this resource after an international tendering process. The process of transforming bauxite to aluminium, of course, will be very energy intensive, and it will require Queensland coal to power it. This $3 billion project, which is still the subject of a feasibility study, has the potential to be the single largest foreign investment in Queensland, and it will be China's single largest investment in Australia. It also promises enormous benefits to the local community of Arakoon, a very remote Indigenous community which is just near the resource. This community faces significant social and economic disadvantages, but it is a determined community that is determined to create a much better future for itself. Of course, there are very significant benefits too for China. Aluminium is a vital industrial resource, and China's consumption, while currently low, will increase as your country's economy grows. The Chalco project will provide a projected 2.1 million tonnes of alumina annually for the next 40 years. This one example shows that coal and investments in coal-intensive projects are important to the economic growth and prosperity here in your country, but also to the state of Queensland that I represent. However, while it is one of our greatest shared trade opportunities, coal contributes directly to one of our greatest shared challenges, and that is the challenge of climate change. As we know, burning coal produces greenhouse gas emissions which lead to global warming.
作为澳大利亚昆士兰州州长，白丽安女士也十分关注环境保护。 面对全球变暖的形势，这位政府的官员将以什么样的观点对话北大的学生呢？他执政的昆士兰州有哪些好的经验可值得借鉴呢？
Climate change is affecting every country and every economy. Meeting the challenge of global warming is the great challenge of your generation. Just as my generation was defined by the political and global imperatives to end the Cold War and the global arms race, both of which threatened world peace, the young students in this lecture theatre today are faced by the imperative to harness the best available science and technology with the political will, good negotiating skills, and good legal frameworks that will work in global contexts to avoid dangerous global warming. Globally, if we are to meet this challenge, we will all need to understand each other. And I congratulate Peking University for committing in an agreement this morning with Griffith University to the ongoing Griffith University-Peking University dialogues. These dialogues will underpin a growing understanding between these universities and our countries. The challenge that we face with climate change will require the best and brightest minds of every country. It is a challenge that demands champions. Scientists are telling us that to avoid dangerous climate change, average global greenhouse emissions must peak no later than 2015 and then decline quickly afterwards. The world is looking at a low-carbon future. Queensland is strongly motivated to make a real contribution to mitigating climate change because coal is our biggest industry and it will continue to be a major source of power generation in our state and to growing economies like yours and other parts of our region. We, along with other countries, are making commitments to reduce our emissions and to change the sources of our energy where possible and to grow our investments and use of renewable energy. I know that China's leaders also recognise the need to act and for the urgency of action. China is collaborating with international partners, including Australia, on coal and carbon dioxide capture and storage technologies through the Asia-Pacific Partnership on Clean Development and Climate. A number of my meetings during my visit to China will focus on developing research links into low-emission energy technologies. Solar energy in particular offers some great opportunities for us in Queensland, and we'll be learning from the expansion of solar and solar thermal power here in China. Responding to the challenge of climate change will require leadership and risk-taking. In Queensland, we have a project that demonstrates these characteristics, and I wanted briefly to discuss this one example with you. And that is a project called the Zero Gen Clean Coal Power Project. This project aims to produce clean coal technology clean coal technology that will power an energy plant. It is the first such project in the world to get to active feasibility stage, and if it succeeds, Queensland could be the home to the world's first clean coal energy demonstration plant by 2012. It will use a process where coal will go through what is called an integrated combined cycle coal gasification process, which removes CO2 from the coal. Next, that CO2 will be captured and stored underground. The remaining gasified coal will then be used to fire the power plant with minimum carbon emissions. This project has exciting global implications. Our desire is to move it as quickly as possible from a demonstration plant to full power generation by 2017. To do this, we will need both investment and research partners. There are many opportunities for partnership with Chinese companies and researchers as we embark on this endeavour. This project has the potential to assist us in Australia and the countries of the world to slow global warming. Actions such as these will provide the groundwork for all of us and for generations to come to work together to secure a future that is both environmentally and economically secure. We believe in our country that we need to secure the future of the environment, but we need to do that in a global context that secures economic growth and continued growth for countries like China. In conclusion, can I thank Peking University once again for the honour of speaking with you today?
就在演讲快要结束的时候，百里安州长衷心地祝福北京奥运圆满成功。
As the excitement of the 2008 Olympic Games begins to build, and I can tell you I can feel that as I've been here talking to business people and to researchers, the people of China are getting very ready for the Olympic Games, and it is a wonderful opportunity for you to present the best of your country to the world. The delegation I'm travelling with had an opportunity this morning on the way to Peking University to see some of the facilities. They are progressing marvellously, and I congratulate China on the outstanding infrastructure that is being put in place. It is a great tribute not only to the construction ability of the companies of China, but the design and artistic merit of these buildings will be a lasting legacy, not only for Beijing, but for the people of the world. As the excitement builds and athletes begin to make their way here from around the world, I encourage each and every one of you to take the spirit of these champion athletes, our sporting heroes, and to use those attributes and take your own talents, to use hard work and dedication, and to really care passionately about your own pursuits in a way that will allow you to apply that to your chosen fields of endeavour, to be the best that you can be, to be an inspiration to those around you, and most of all, to make a difference. Thank you.